So we got the Battle Brothers today. I'm Philip, my co-host is Kieran. Let's go straight into it. So for their first rule, we've got Battleborn. So if a unit where all models have this rule is shaken at the beginning of the round, roll one die. On a 4+, it becomes shaken. What do you think?
Okay, so Battle Brothers previously had just the Fearless. Now they've got Battleborn as well.
They've got Fearless and this.
Yeah. So it feels like you're stacking too much, but it's a weird niche, right? Because it's the beginning of the round, which means even after you, it happens before you lose a turn, so you can be shaken after failing your morale and failing your Fearless, and then still get your next activation.
You could still lose a turn with this. If you get shaken before you get an action, then this doesn't trigger. But this is the only thing I've seen that can like negate auto shake from like being transported and blown up.
Yep.
This is.
I did think about that, but if you're in the transport and you're getting shaken,
you probably haven't activated in the transport.
Exactly. So it does negate it, but so would that turn's activation anyway. I guess if you were for some reason activating in the transport first, it might make sense, but yeah.
One thing that's cool about this that I just recently thought of is if you are in that position where you've been shaken, let's say by some miracle that Battle Brothers player has multiple shaken units at the start of a round, you can take that off without having to activate them before your opponent gets to melee them out of existence. Because this is before anything happens. So again, it's just a free get out of jail card. Anything to do with morale is amazing. And on top, the fact that it has Fearless, they have Fearless as well. So before they shake, they get to 4-up that, and then after they shake, they get to 4-up it. It's
well, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, mathematically, the Fearless and a quality 3-up is effectively a 2-up morale. So you're looking at an army-wide pretty much 2-up morale, and then if a turn passes, you may just get your next turn anyway. So, like you said, a lot of the ways you can deal with enemy vehicles is by charging them to morale check them, because they don't hit back very well. And even if you could manage to get through all of the saves on the Battle Brothers, there's still a 50% chance that they just, before they next activate, get to remove that shaken anyway. So it's quite strong, and it is stacking on a defensive stat that they did already have.
Yeah, their morale is already extremely high before Fearless, before Battleborn, with their banners and things. So yeah, this is an incredibly consistent army. This is, since the robot rule disappeared, this is probably the most consistent army. There's so many ways to just make morale very likely or just negate it. And that's amazing. That's probably the strongest thing you can do in the game, is just to try to mitigate morale. And I think what Nexus said in our last review is correct. I feel like this is almost undercosted, because the amount of morale negation here, and they're not that expensive, is kind of incredible. Yeah.
There is a bit of a trade-off in the list when it comes to damage output, particularly at range, which we'll discuss as we go through. That doesn't exist quite as much in Melee, as we'll also get to. But yeah, I mean, very unkillable as far as the army rules go, because it's hard to get through their save, and then even if you do proc that morale check, they're almost always going to pass it. And when they don't, they might still, in effect, pass it.
So this isn't a unique rule to them, but I mean, all their units have them, so it may as well be Fearless. What more can you say? It's an incredible rule.
It's a base Battle Brothers, not on the variants.
Yeah. So straight up, if you fail morale, then you get a 4-up to have passed it instead. No losing models, you just pass it. Wow, that's it's a great rule to have on everyone. It's a great rule to have on any model, but to have it across your entire army is just amazing as well. So let's have a look. Now they've got their unique mark, unstoppable shooting. What do we think about this mark?
So I seen this one. While I was looking through the list and thinking about the applications of it, I'm a big fan of unstoppable as a rule. To add on to like weapons with unstoppable, I think are going to be very important this edition with the frequency of artillery pieces, of stealth modifiers, of flyers, things like that. And of course, the doubling of Ignor's regen means that this rule it will often deny half of the defensive rules of your opponent, whatever they bring. So unstoppable, I think, is a really good thing to have in any list. And the fact that now you don't need to purchase unstoppable weapons, which in Battle Brothers is fairly limited anyway. This means you can just run your normal weapons and maybe one or two sources of this mark, drop it on the units that you need to drop it onto, so your artillery pieces, your flyers, and then and then you'll be able to actually hit them. One weird interaction with this is how it interacts with the flyer rule, the aircraft rule. Unfortunately, aircrafts restrict, as I understand it, restrict targeting, and this is an ability that targets, so you would need a 6-inch range to target the aircraft, which
Interesting.
Unless I have misinterpreted or the aircraft rule has changed enough in that direction, I believe that means that this is not as good as it comes off in the face value, which I hope is baked into the points. It's pretty cheap.
This is probably the best version of these marks I've seen so far.
Really?
I love this. So the reason I think it's so good is you don't know until you get to the table how much ignores penalties or unstoppable basically, or how much regen ignoring you need in your army until you see what your enemy's got. So this means that if you come up against an opponent and he's got Carnifexes and he's got regen on them, then now all your las cannons are going to be slamming, ignoring that regen, ignoring any penalties. Or if, for example, you've got a regenning zombie squad or something like that, now all your bolters are doing it. You've got heavy bolters or just a large Battle Brother squad, just not caring about anything the enemy's doing. It's so flexible in terms of what you do. And like you mentioned, I think Unstoppable is actually, the more I play, the more I like Unstoppable. So having it on tap like that, can just putting it on any unit that needs to go away. You know, the odd artillery pieces that are around now, they're going to just hate getting hit with this mark because then they just get picked up by literally anything. And the Unstoppable, the models that typically have Unstoppable, the weapons, they're a little bit worse for having that rule. So missiles, for example, AP2, as opposed to AP3 for las cannons. Now your las cannons are unstoppable. They're just straight up better. Or melter guns are unstoppable. So I really like this rule. I think this is actually a very strong pick. And very flexible.
So, I've just checked on that aircraft question as well. And yes, it's a great rule. It's well priced, but specifically against aircrafts, it does fall. It's not as good as it looks off the face value, just because suddenly you need a 6-inch to drop on the unstoppable shooting mark onto the aircraft so that you can hit it.
There's some units in this army that can do that because they're fast. So it's not the end of the world.
You can put this on transports, I believe.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and it's quite cheap at that. So I do agree it is still an excellent rule, and aircraft aren't the only thing you'd want to target with, but it is worth noting, of course, that that is one thing that it won't do quite as well. But yeah, ignores regen applied whenever you want, even if you don't consider the negative modifier part of it. Ignores regen is really valuable. It's a lot of people have medics in their squads. So being able to ignore that is quite huge, and wherever you want, with whatever you want.
So there's an extra rule as well. We've got the versatile attack, so it's changed from before. It's not just straight +1 to hit. You actually get a choice. So you can either your +1 to hit you had before, and it's melee or ranged, or you can have +1 AP, melee or ranged. Wow, that's a great rule that got even better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This is incredible.
It's so good.
in a lot of my testing and looking at the sort of math of things, there are legitimate situations when you want to use each. And the fact that you can choose which one you want to use in any given circumstance means that you can have an all-comers list that can adapt to what it's versing. So that low sort of against HDF or Alien Swarm, where they've got a lot of 5-up saves, when you've got your mostly bolter army, so you're looking at AP1 native, you can just get the +1 to hit instead. When you've got coming up against like Eternals or other Battle Brothers, you can go for the AP. And at those different save values that you're shooting at, it changes which of these options is better. So genuinely, you can tool which of the options you use to the situation, and that always is sort of an exponentially better rule than it seems just off the face.
And it also yeah, go ahead.
2-up hit is a huge consistency anyway, and it feels good to roll dice and just go, yep, these all hit.
This also enables this squad to now use reliable weapons, whereas a bit of a waste before. So now you can have +1 AP combi flamers, for example, whereas before that would be like a kind of a waste. You'd be hitting on 1-up, thus 2-up, and you wouldn't get any AP on it. Now you get your 2-up anyway. Plus it's a heavy flamer now because it's AP1, so potentially 6 heavy flamers. Wow.
Or an AP2 heavy flamer.
And yeah. Really, really good. That again, so flexible, so strong. I'm starting to see a theme. Now they do have it's not a rule unique to them, but something that they are pretty good at is having these attachments to represent their combi weapons. So you just have to have a heavy rifle, and then you can unlock a limited weapon that you can fire at the same time. There are some squads that can just be fully equipped with these, and most of your characters can. How have you found these?
See, you brought this up and you're asking it on purpose because of the one time I showed up with some pretty cracked fusion mod span. Now, look, limited is always a great rule because it's always a much cheaper source of the weapon. It's even better when you have whatever choice of limited you want here. It front loads the damage of the weapon. You get the rifle shot forever, and you get the mod for that first turn that you use it, which is already incredible. But because you do both on the same turn, your output is heavily put towards your first shots or your first interaction with
which is what you want.
Which is when you have the most units to shoot with. So popping out of a transport full of limited weapons, that first shot will wipe out something. In almost all cases, like with the
whatever you're attacking towards, whether it's fusion or flamer or gravity or plasma, something's just going to eat it.
Yeah, and that is just really, really valuable. And then after that, the unit isn't as valuable, admittedly, as it is in that first turn, but because it's done so much already, it draws threat while not being as much of a threat to your enemy. So it also can sort of confuse their target priority for the rest of the game, despite the fact that now you've lost those. And if you haven't, then given it only goes on units generally that are versatile, you're still hitting with AP1 shots on a 2-up.
Yeah.
Or AP2 shots on a 3-up, which is excellent regardless.
Yep. Really good option. All right, so let's go into the character rules then. We'll start with the Master Destroyer. So melee shrouding aura. So -3 inches to be charged for this unit. I'm not super scared of melee with Battle Brothers. I don't know if I'd pay for this when there's so much other good options. What do you think?
Yeah, like we said in the other ones, whenever you're choosing auras or abilities for your hero, it's not a question of whether I can use this one so much as could I use one that's better.
There's some good stuff in here.
There is, and so many excellent options to pick from. It's really hard to justify something like this. Now, look, there's probably some niche where this might be useful, but with your save and your quality, not many of your units can't sort of potentially equal in combat unless you're versing like a really hard dedicated melee unit with your non-dedicated melee unit. So this is such a niche that I don't see it coming up too much, but I'm sure there's some use for it between sort of like a midfield shooting unit being harder to charge, but it just you're tough enough.
Yeah.
All right, you'll survive.
And you'll make the morale, so it's not like you're gonna, you know.
Exactly, yeah. So even if they do charge you, unless they wipe you out, you've got a 3-up and then a 4-up and then a 4-up potentially.
All right, let's just talk about the next one then, redeployment. My eyes popped out of my head when I read this. So what does it do? So after all units are deployed, you may remove up to 2 friendly units from the table and deploy them again. Players alternate in placing redeployment units, starting with the player that activates next. Wow. So for 20 points, it says win deployment. Now, I don't know if this stacks. It might stack. Maybe you can do this for 4 friendly units. That would be incredible. I haven't checked that. I hope it doesn't.
I would say it does.
Yeah,
the way it reads is that this unit lets you remove up to 2 friendly units. So this unit, these other 2 friendly units, which could be itself or other units on the table.
Yeah.
So I would read it as multiple would work.
So this means, for example, you can put down your damaging units and your opponent's going to try and hide from them, or he'll try and deploy somewhere else to win objectives somewhere else where he's not going to be threatened by that. And you can instantly completely screw his deployment by moving over your las cannons to where his tank thought he was safe. Or your opponent tries to counter your scouts by putting his own scouts in the way, and you can say, well, now you're in the middle of nowhere and you're going to get shot to pieces, and my scouts are exactly where they want to be, somewhere else. This can win the game. This is incredible. This is I wish I had this ability in my armies. Wow. I think this is a must take. You have to have this on one of your characters because it's too strong not to take.
Okay.
Can you see any reason not to take this?
Yeah, of course. So I do agree that in 95% of armies you should. It's a good idea to take this, and when we get to the actual hero, I'll describe how I would take it in most games. Which spoiler, I guess, for you for when we have a game. But look, this is all about the strategic layer of the pre-game setup, the deployment. Not everyone is as proficient at counter deploying as everyone else, and if that's not really your forte, if you're more into once the game actually gets started, this might not be as important to you. And not all of your opponents are going to really deploy super heavy, into the counter deploy mindset. So I can see for some people this won't be as interesting to them, which is, I really think, the only situation where you don't want this, because counter deploying is obviously quite good, quite powerful. I don't think it will win, 80 to 90% of the games that you do that in. I don't think it's that powerful, but I think somebody who's really good at planning out and thinking ahead a few turns, especially when they come up against an opponent like yourself who loves his counter-deploying, 60% of his army is scouts, so he can deploy them after his opponent deploys. And
this terrifies me as someone who does that, by the way, because that completely negates that whole strategy almost.
It does.
By the way, like melee army, like the Gene Stealers who like to scout up and now they're in charge range, and you can just be like, sorry, I'm just going to move the unit that you were going to charge. I'm just going to move it somewhere else and then just shoot you because you're not going to get to charge something on the first turn. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if this was with somehow able to be combined with like spear units that could strike first in combat even when charged, this would be very funny to replace your precious weak shooter unit that they want to charge with a spear unit that's like, okay, you can charge me if you want. That would be a pretty funny use of the mechanic. So I by no means am I saying this is in any way bad. I think this is something that basically anyone should take, but not everyone's going to find the same joy out of the counter deploy as perhaps we do. And obviously, if your opponent likes to counter deploy, this is definitely a must take, because
if your opponent is scouting, this is a must take. If if you're taking some very damaging units, which we can talk about later, there's some very scary units in this list. You probably should have this as well, because you can just bait your opponent, put it somewhere, and then he thinks, okay, I'll put my tank somewhere else and he'll be safe for a couple turns, and you go, no, he's going to die first turn. There's not much else to say. This is something you should. I know you think like, yeah, maybe there's some other picks, but my goodness, I would at least put one character towards this.
Yeah. Most games I play, I will be putting one of these in.
All right, so Bane in melee aura.
Incredible.
For certain units, yeah.
Yep.
Ignoring regen, ignoring result to sixes means that you're going to be able to blend those low defense regen units, the guardsmen, the orcs, zombies, infected, things like that. They're not going to like this, but nobody likes having their sixes rerolled. And this also has a fringe benefit for if you take mass power fists, which is something mass AP4 that Space Marines can do. This says that you have to reroll all your successful saves. All those sixes that you managed to roll against my AP4, roll them again. So it just makes it very consistent to just punch right through anything.
It's I mean that's the point I was going to make when we get to a certain unit as well, is that being able to stock up on AP4 and then have Bane in melee means that since you're never going to get cover in melee, the absolute best save they'll have against your AP4 will be a 6-up, and then you're looking at, okay, I'm hitting a tank with a 2-up save and regen, I ignore regen, and your arm save goes from a 1 in 6 to a 1 in 36. You don't get saves against a Bane melee unit. And even without that, any source of ignores regen can be quite good. It's one of the big reasons why the rending power sword is really good, is because it's a really cheap upgrade usually, and it gives you the regen. Obviously, the chance to get AP4 is good. It's something, but that ignores regen can be real cash money. And this just lets you apply it to a unit with weapons that aren't power swords. Like you said, the power fist's excellent. I probably wouldn't take this on many melee units. Like if they just went with chain swords, I don't know if I'd take this on them.
You need to think how to use this, but if you build around it, it has massive potential.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's good. I love it.
All right, so we'll go into their spells. So, Advanced Sight, 1 cost. Pick one enemy unit within 18 inches that gets unstoppable when shooting against once. So that limit you had before on the aircraft needed to be within 6 inches, that's gone. You can just shoot it, as long as you're within 18 inches of the squad you want to do it. Again, so flexible, so good. Can't complain about this for one point.
I guess this doesn't target, right? Does it target?
You're targeting a friendly unit.
No, pick one enemy.
Oh, enemy. You're right.
Yeah. So this is the exact same as the mark.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was that
the exact
wrong?
same as the mark, but rather than paying 35, how much do you pay for cuts too?
35, but you got the extra flexibility. But it doesn't. It's not 100% to go off like a mark.
No, you can make it a 3-up if you use both. Look, this is a utility spell. If you've got a caster, there'll be times you want to use this. It means that 35 points can be used for the other spells, or can be dumped into this as just spare change spell.
And it's flexible. You may not need the Advanced Sight, but it's there if you need it.
Yeah, it's just utility, really.
All right, so the level 1 damage spell, pick one enemy unit within 18 inches, which takes 1 hit with Smash, which ignores regen, and against Defense 5 or Defense 6 units, it has Blast 3.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Smash is a really interesting case in terms of spells, or in terms of weapons regardless. Ignores regen, like I said, always good. Defense 5 and 6 is quite common in, 70% of lists. But if you're building all comers, this Smash might not necessarily come up. So in a spell form is quite good. because you just can completely ignore the spell if you come up against, another Battle Brothers or a Rebot Legions list or a Titans list. But yeah, I mean, look, if you compare this to sort of other spells, even in the case that you're always versing defense 5 up, it's a pick one enemy unit that gets blast 3, ignores regen. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's not
Can't ask for a
incredible,
huge amount more than a level 1, but
no, exactly.
all right. Blessed ammo. Pick 2 friendly units within 12 that get shred when shooting once. So we've been talking about shred a lot, just in chats and things like that. So shred. Should we talk about shred? Well, should we talk about it now? And shred and deadly. Okay. So shred is an incredible rule, just on its own. Before you start taking in all the other things that you can do, but one thing that is semi-unique with Shred and Battle Brothers is that they can get their Shred on ranged, deadly weapons, which means that if they roll that 1, blocking a las cannon, they take 2 las cannon deadly 3 hits, which is very scary. That is going to start picking up units very quick, especially with all the other things you can put on them, like Unstoppable and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be on things like las cannons. You can just put it on, like you said, your bolter squads and things. You can put it on things that don't necessarily have to have that high AP and deadly and quality shooting. You can just start picking up hordes because they don't like rolling ones either and taking extra wounds. And this is on 2 units. So what do you think about this spell? I love this spell.
So incredible spell. I guess the sum of what I'm going to say about this spell list, it will be that there's not really anything on this list that I don't like. Just off the cusp, thinking over the top of my head, looking at these now. Shred, incredible. Applying it to 2 units, incredible. Only 2 costs, so your caster 3s can cast on a 3-up every turn. Or your cast 3s could cast this, and then one of the other ones is spare change, You could have Shred and Unstoppable on a unit firing.
Yeah.
So there's no regen, there's extra wounds, there's no negative modifiers. It can be really scary really quick. And this is it's such a good ability. And like you said, with Deadly, it's a big multiplier when they roll that 1. It's not going to feel good rolling 1 and then taking 6 wounds. Multiplies with Blast as well. Really nice. It's just so good.
Even without the Deadly, if you've just got a big bolter squad and you just pump this into something defense 2, then yeah, you're pseudo doubling it in terms of the amount of output they're taking in wounds when they roll those 1s.
I mean,
it's
6 shots against a 2-up save goes from 1 wound gets through to 2 wounds get through, which is a big jump.
Yeah,
it's double when you're looking at it in the low quality.
Yep. It's this is a really good spell, and it's hard to justify not casting this every turn. All right, Lightning Fog. Pick 2 enemy units within 9 that take 4 hits. It's all right. Occasionally, this will be useful just to trigger some morales on things. Hitting 2 units is... I'm always a fan of hitting 2 units at the same time with 1 activation. What do you think about Lightning Fog?
Following with the rest of the psychic power changes this edition, the offensive power of damage spells has dropped. A lot of the time you could see 12-inch 6 hits to 2 squads before. This is about as close to that as I've seen in this edition across the list so far. There may be something closer than that, but 2 enemy units, 9 inches, 4 hits. If your wizard is up close in any way, which, I mean, he probably will be. It's not like you have to protect him in this list. It's quite a tanky list. 4 hits on the unit you're about to charge so that they're more likely to lose that melee morale test. 4 hits on another unit that happens to be nearby. People don't tend to fully spread out their army, and the more points you go, the better this gets. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to scoff at, and it fits in perfectly when, you've got your caster 2 or caster 3. You've applied Blessed Ammo, it's hit. You haven't used it with those units. You've got a new turn, you've got a caster 3. Perfect. I'll just toss out this, get some hits. No real downside.
Yeah. Pick up to 3 friendly units within 12 inches, which get evasive, which is -1 to hit rolls for melee and ranged next time it would apply.
Super stealth.
Super stealth. It's expensive, and you need 3 friendly units within 12, which is not always the easiest thing. But I mean, this is great defense, just straight -1 to hit. I like that it's in melee too. You could maybe potentially cast this in turn 1 if you didn't have a massive need to cast the shred or something like that, and then your units are a bit tanky when the lines join. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thoughts on protective?
Yeah, it's good.
It's fun.
It's expensive, which is the main reason why it's not like great. I wouldn't say necessarily build for this, but the one theme you may have noticed here that I keep referring to is you basically have choices and all of them are good. So you got to cast a 3, like you said, you can cast Blessed Ammo, don't have the option, or it may be you're more under threat than needing output in this turn. Try this instead. Less likely to happen with 3 cost, admittedly, more expensive to cast, but you have the option. And because you've taken this caster, you could go for Protected Dome, you could go for shooting, you could go for damage dealing. There's buffs there, there's debuffs there, there's damage spells, and none of them are particularly extra bad.
No,
and that's not even factoring in that
they just have niches.
Yeah, you can also counter.
All right, so the last one, Psychic Terror, cost 3. Pick 1 enemy unit within 6 inches, which takes 9 hits with Bane. So it's targeted. Interestingly, I've noticed with this list, it's all targeted at low defense units. There's not a lot of high AP spell damage here, but maybe that's good because they have a lot of quality shooting already. So now they have some horde clear in their spell casting. And this is fine. You pretty much have to be in melee to do it, but that's fine. These casters don't mind being in melee, and this sucks to get hit within melee if you're against a low quality chaff squad or something like that. That's going to do a lot of damage. I would hate this. Yeah. My veterans getting hit with this would hate it.
Yeah, I mean, if, for example, in isolation, you took a caster just to cast their spell, you never cast any other spells, what you're looking at there, since it's 9 hits on a 4-up, is you could treat it like a melee weapon, just for math's sake. That's a 4-up to hit 9 hits. So it's like a 18 attack with a 4-up, effectively.
With a Bane.
With Bane. Would you buy that as a weapon? Or,
yeah. I would pay 35 points for that.
If you put it in Battle Brothers with a quality 3-up, let's say without, the versatile rule, it's the equivalent of a 27, not 27, what is it, 12 attack?
Yep.
Weapon?
Instead of 18 hits.
With a 3-up hit?
Yeah.
Would you pay 35 for that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only downside I can ever think to taking a caster in Battle Brothers is if you wanted something else more. And that's really going to come down to personal preference more than it's ever going to come down to like which option is obviously better, because so many of these rules, as said before, are just excellent.
So no problems with this spell list. This is one of the best ones I've seen. The only thing it doesn't have is that individual targeting a model that some of the other spell lists have, but that's okay.
Yeah, can't snipe. Yeah.
No, can't snipe things, but these are good spells that are buffing up a really good base. So let's go. Captain, Bane when shooting aura. Wow. Great.
Yeah.
There's some good units that can use this as well.
Just bolter boys.
Just bolter boys. But, I mean, you can go crazy with this. You could put this in your las cannon squad.
Yeah.
And now those... Yeah, put them in your plasma squad. And now they have to re-roll those 6s. It's...
Yeah.
I like this one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not very expensive. 40 points. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing really more to add about it, to be honest. It's just like Bane and Melee, but it's for the shooting units instead. And, ignore regen and your opponent rerolls 6s on defense is good.
Just makes you so consistent.
Yeah. Attach this to a squad that shoots, and unsurprisingly, you'll shoot better.
Yeah.
So I'd put it on par with pretty much the rest of the excellent choices.
So I think there's one. Yeah, okay. So we've got a couple extra ones on some of the other commanders. So we've got Rapid Rush Aura. So this one, the model moves, the model and its unit get +6 inches on rush actions. So not advance actions, not charge actions, rush actions. This one's a little bit of a miss for me. I don't know if I want to be using rush actions too often. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it's planning for failure. If your unit is shooting, you want to be advancing so you can move and shoot. If your unit is melee focused, you want to be charging. So ideally, every turn you can charge. Not always going to be the case. So you will be rushing intermittently. And this, to be fair, basically means that this is useful when you are out of position with a melee unit. So you need to get further, at which point it's excellent. It'll get you into that place, and that could be game winning. But it is a niche that will depend on how you play and how good you are at board control and positioning. And the other thing that's really good at it is end of game rushing to cap an objective. Because 18 inches from a unit to move across the board is quite good at, suddenly I've got this objective too, or I'm contesting, haha, I win at the last minute sort of thing. So, but the issue is those are either niche or planning for failure.
I wish it gave something to charge, just anything.
Yes.
Because it feels bad to have paid points and put a character in to make something move faster, and you still have a 12-inch charge. That's not great because it's pretty easy to plan around a 12-inch charge. The rapid, like this is a fast turn 1 move, 18 inches. You can't argue with that. That's faster than fast units. But
it's a better scout almost.
Yeah. I don't think I'd take this though.
No.
It's way too niche. Reposition artillery. This is funny. Again, pretty niche though. So once per activation, pick one friendly model within 6 inches that has the artillery keyword and move it 9 inches.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like you mentioned, I like my artillery at the back, benefiting from its -2 to hit, -2 to be hit rule.
There are some short-range artillery options that might make this, or if you don't use one of the indirect artillery options, you might need to move it just so it can see around the corner. But now you're dedicating a hero to that purpose.
These heroes aren't cheap. These aren't like, rat heroes or like HDF heroes. This is an expensive hero.
Yeah, he's got to be doing something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. We've got Mend for the engines here. Once per activation, pick one friendly model within 3 inches with tough and remove D3 wounds from it. This can be good. Yeah, this can be good.
A chance.
So the D3 wounds isn't as bad as you think it is, because a lot of the damage your high toughness model is going to take is going to be deadly 3 or 6. So just even if you get one wound from this, it still is going to take another deadly 3 or deadly 6 to get rid of, most likely. So it messes with the math just by having this unit around healing your stuff that your opponents have to do.
Yeah, it's one of those shadow abilities where you look at it and go, 40 points, and now he's babysitting vehicles. Is he really, or potentially, tough 3 units? Is this really going to do like anything? The other thing it does is can the Master Destroyer take it?
No.
I don't believe he can. No. Okay. So one of the niche I was potentially thinking of was you could use this to, he can use it to heal himself, right? Mm-hmm. He's a tough model within 3 inches of himself. So it's also like a weird regen in that case.
He does still get picked up by a melter or las cannon or something. So
he does. But yeah, look, if you build a list that's heavy in vehicles, I could definitely see this playing a good part. And like you said, it does more than you think, because even with one or averaging 2 heals, that's going to be a whole extra melter that needs to hit. Or if you end up on one wound because of this, and your opponent shot their melters at you, they are going to blow whole units of firepower just to chip off that last one, which is always excellent. if they have to fire their shotguns, their heavy rifles, all to get that last wound on your thing, that's a whole nother squad that didn't take that fire that was much better against that other squad.
Yeah, it's better than you think it is. This you need it to partner it with something, so he has to have an idea of who he's going to be walking next to. But this can be extremely good. Now I think that's all of them. Does the Pathfinder have anything? No. Okay.
No.
All right. So let's go through each of them and just how would you run each of them? So we've got the Master Destroyer, the Terminator equivalent.
I wouldn't run it.
He's quite expensive. So just base 130. I mean, you can run a ambushing Terminator bomb if you wanted to, but he's lost that AP3 spell he used to have to make those extremely strong on the charge.
Yeah. Look, if you want to run a Terminator bomb, you still can. I'd consider buying him caster if I was going to run the Master Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably grab the dual energy claws because, I mean, 8 attacks rending is beautiful. And then put him with another squad of destroyers. But at the same time...
He's 200 points.
It's 200 points.
It's 200 points.
And he's only a 3-up save when he's got that weapon, and you really do want to be taking probably the dual energy claws. The 2-up save is nice, but just the sheer volume of attacks is nicer. And then I guess you've got the spells as well. You know, you can throw on evasive, even with on the charge, and make them harder to kill. Yeah, any unit that you want to use this in, you're probably not going to want to bother with the Bane in melee, particularly as well, because you're probably going to build it for number of attacks, and at that number of attacks, you're probably going to kill whatever you hit. So I don't know. He's too much.
He's a little bit too pricey.
You have better options.
So let's go on to the Veteran Master Brother. So he can have the dual energy claw, but only 4 attacks. He's got the heavy chainsaw sword, all these versatile shooting weapons. He can have a shooting weapon and some melee weapons if you're willing to accept less attacks. Jetpack and combat bike. How would you run the Veteran Master Brother?
So the key difference between this and the following Master Brother is one special rule, which is
the versatile attack. Yeah.
I think otherwise they can be built the same. Yeah, versatile is an excellent rule. It's well worth the little expenditure. Obviously, it depends what you're using the hero for.
It's 5 points for that rule?
Yeah, 5 points.
Incredible. Yeah, I would pay that every day.
Well, it's 5 points, but also starts with shielded instead of the gravity pistol. It's kind of
okay. So you have to buy.
Yes, you'd buy that gravity pistol, so 5 extra points.
And he's still got shielded. Okay, yeah. So he's paying 10 points for the shielded and versatile attack. Still good.
By all means, excellent. This is your go-to for putting in a squad that you want to buff for melee. So your assault squads, your shooting squads, any squad that you want to buff, especially veterans. I'd put this guy in. Just the versatile attack's really nice.
My immediate thought was the either the fusion or flamer mod with just a heavy rifle. Just for the heavy flamer on tap or the fusion 2-up on tap.
Yeah, exactly. You being able to do the AP instead is excellent. So you can go flame mod. It's no longer pointless. Whereas before you'd had reliable and get +1 to hit didn't mean anything. Flamer, fusion, or give him dual energy claws or heavy chainsaw and put him in a assault squad. All good options. Give him the jetpack. Never give him the combat bike, I think.
It's pretty expensive.
Pretty much a dead pick as well, in my opinion, in the list. If you compare, combat bike, you're basically building a Master Destroyer, but he's got versatile attack instead. So on that front, if you did want to run a Master Destroyer, I think the combat bike veteran master brother would be better, just because it's the same thing but with versatile instead of ambush, and fast. So maybe there's some silly thing you can do there, but he doesn't go with a squad well, since the other bikes can't go melee build.
This is a good place to get your Bane when shooting aura, because he has all those nice weapons, and he's probably going in a squad that also has some nice weapons. Or just straight redeployment if you don't have it anywhere else. But
That's not where I'd recommend it, but you can if you want.
So let's go to his lesser brother, the master brother. And now he's very similar. He's pretty much just losing the points.
But he loses versatile, and so he's a bit cheaper. This is... I mean, look, you don't technically need versatile on a buffing commander. It's a 10-point difference. If you're strapped for cash, you can downgrade and still get the buff on whatever squad he's in. But, I mean, just for me, I feel like it's nicer to have all versatile attack in a unit or none. So I'd probably run him in any unit that I wasn't using versatile attack. So your normal Battle Brothers as a buffer.
I like this fusion pistol for 5 points. I know 6 inches, hard to use, but 5 points for AP4 Deadly 3 just as a pocket in a squad. That sounds tasty to me.
Also, actually not too hard to use, courtesy of a lot of units having a special banner that would help with that.
Exactly.
Bring it up to 10-inch.
Again, he's good with the combi weapons, the heavy rifle attachment. He likes all them. Having pocket quality attacks is good. Probably just keep it cheaper though. Yeah, he's fine. It depends on the squad you want to bring him in, but yeah. Would you run this guy as the caster 3 or the veteran master brother?
Yeah, it's a good question. The caster would be, in my opinion, sitting in a squad anyway, so he'd be couched in a squad anyway.
I feel like this guy is maybe the better caster 3 option, just to make him a little cheaper.
Yeah, especially if you're going for caster 3. Yeah.
All right, and we'll go to the scout commander, the elite Pathfinder. All right. So he's got his scout rules. He's got his stealth. He's got some, again, great weapons. Very versatile amount of weapons. He's got the sniper rifle and the shotgun option.
So do me a favor.
Already know what you're going to say. Yeah, click. And
Master
the
Sniper.
Flamer pistol. And click. Now, so, and I would get probably the scout rule as well.
I'd get the stealth. Maybe not the scout. But either or both, they're 5 points difference.
I'd just take the scout just to mess with deployment a little bit for 5 points. But so this guy. I mean, you don't have to run him as a sniper. You can actually be a fairly decent scouting chainsaw guy as well, with the heavy chainsaw sword. But this is quite nice. He's not much points. He's going to be picking away at key parts of squads with that master sniper rifle. He's going to mess with your opponent's deployment right from the start of the game. He's got that scout if you want to go for an objective, or if you just want to use it as a counter deploy option. This is a really good unit for 135 points. Really good.
Yeah. Your opponent's going to feel like the great thing about stealth on a unit like this, where it's almost a dummy activation, honestly. It increases your activation limit in your army. It's providing its utility. Redeployment happens at the start of the game, so it doesn't matter if it gets killed. It's already done its redeployment, which is its biggest benefit. And now, while it sits on the board, it can't quite be ignored because Sniper's excellent. Just picking off the regen in their army, although you might not want to do that in Battle Brothers, since
you have so many other options.
You basically ignore it with so many different rules. Bane across your army, or rending weapons everywhere, or all sorts of stuff like that. Unstoppable, yep. But picking off banners, especially good, like the HDF +1 morale banner. Anyone who's applying marks, anyone who's sergeants in a squad, it's a 2-shot sniper rifle.
Marker lights.
Yeah, Markelites, it's the gun drone, whoever's got the gun drone or whatever drone in Dow. It's like, your opponent's going to want to kill this because it's going to annoy the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then it's with stealth, it's like, oh, what do I fire at it? I kind of feel like I have to use Unstoppable because that stealth's so annoying.
And
How
he's
is
so
using
far at the
Unstoppable against
back.
Pathfinder? Yeah. Yeah, who cares? Sit somewhere, snipe things.
And
all upside.
This is how you want snipers. You want cheap snipers that are not too easy to kill. Yeah, this is a great unit. And yeah, you don't have to run him as a sniper. You could always chuck on a heavy chainsword with him and scout him up, and then he can beat up other light scouting squads. Yeah,
Pretty much by himself.
Yeah, he doesn't need help.
Yeah, but in that situation, he is more likely to get killed off himself. Only a defense 4 up, and
do what you must. I've already redeployed. I've already won.
Yeah. I mean, that's source in the redeployment, and this is how I'd pretty much always take the redeployment. Otherwise, you're spending too much on a better unit for a rule that happens before your opponent can kill it.
Yep. All right, so let's go into the Pathfinders or Space Marine Scouts. So they only have quality 4, defense 4, unlike the Space Marines quality 3, defense 3. They do not have the option of a banner, unlike Space Marines or some of the other banners that they've got. But they do have Stealth and Scout as an option. You can take both if you wanted to. They've got the Unstoppable Shooting Mark. And they've got some nice weapons. They can go all shotguns, they can go all bolters if you want, or they can run up and attack things with close combat weapons.
And sniper rifles.
And they have a Strider as default.
And they have Strider. Look, your best source of sniper rifles, definitely the Elite Pathfinder with redeployment. Second best, well, I guess the second place you can actually get them is here.
I love that you only have to pick how many you take.
Exactly.
You just have 1 or 2.
1 or 2 or 3 if you want. You've got that Scout. It's purchasable. It's not compulsory. So if you want to build these for combat or for shotguns, don't need to transport them. In the last video, we talked with Nexus about the choices for chaff in different armies and how valuable that sort of quality 5, defense 5, 10 model unit is in any real competitive, powerful list. We did have a bit of a discussion about the idea of this sort of anti-chaff, where it's a bit better than normal chaff, that quality 4 up, defense 4 up, particularly scout and shotguns.
Yep.
This is going to win any chaff fight. This is going to out chaff your enemy's chaff by being good at killing chaff.
And they force it straight away with scout. They need no help. They'll just go do it.
Exactly. 135 points for
and these guys
in the middle of the field.
They're morale resistant. They're not immune.
Oh, yeah.
Like semi-immune, like most Battle Brothers units are. But 4 up quality and fearless with the Battleborn on top is very good. That's better than most armies' elite units.
75% chance of passing a morale test, and then you also have a 50% before your next turn's activation anyway.
That's more than enough.
You can throw in a flamer on this as well to make it even more reliable in that 12-inch murdering range.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw on the mark if you want. It does increase the price a bit, so I'd be a bit more worried that you're going to draw more aggro when you take that. But if you're scouting these up with shotguns, you might want to activate them early anyway. So popping that mark nice and early, it's on the thing you want it to be on. They blow away the Pathfinders. Who cares? You'll probably still have 1 or 2 guys left because
they'll probably pass
defense
morale.
4 up in cover, high morale chance to pass. You've got Strider. Yeah, it's weird that a 5 what do you call it? A 5 model unit can be so tanky and so well fit chaff.
Unlike most chaff, this will pass morale. So that you can be aggressive with them, and like you might get 4 of them blown away, but your last guy's got the shooting mark and maybe a flamer or something, so he's still there, still being annoying.
Great
this is great. Would you ever bring 10 men?
Only mostly as like a meme, as a joke list. I could see
they're still
some
scary.
Look, scouting 10 shotguns
is never a bad thing.
It's never a bad thing.
And they're
I
not
think
that
you've got
expensive.
no, they're not. But I think you've got more exciting things to spend points on in the list than this. If it's your thing, it's not bad though. It's never going to be bad. Yeah, these are a great unit.
Yeah, I think this is you probably want at least one, maybe two of these, just small 5-man squads with a specific job, scouting around, just putting some forward pressure on your opponent. Chaff activations, they're great. I think they're very worth taking.
Yeah, and counter your opponent's scout deployments using the redeploy. Perfect.
Exactly. All right, so the standard Battle Brothers, the Space Marine Tactical Squad. So 3-up quality, 3-up defense. They've got the Battleborn and Fearless, and they've got these unique banners. So they've got a detachment banner to give a straight +1 to all morale test rolls. Already incredible. I'm clicking it. You can't make me not click it. Versatile Reach Aura. This model and its unit gets Versatile Reach, which means they can choose to either get +4-inch range when shooting or move +2 when charging. Yep, that's pretty good. Like we mentioned, there's some real weapon profiles that would love this, and you can have this on a second. If you combined, you could add this in, or you can go regen across the squad and be very, very tanky with a 3-up defense and a regen on top. What do we think about the Battle Brothers?
So many of the different armies, they're sort of like normal infantry, mainline infantry unit. Can be quite boring, can be quite simple. The tactical squad, the humble tactical squad's always been a personal favorite. The bolters being good, the tankiness, the one special weapon of your choice, option for banners and regen. It's just a nice troop unit.
You always take this Courage Aura first, right?
No.
Really?
No, my first pick on this, if I took 5-man squads,
Yeah.
because you can only take one of them, would be Regen Aura.
Even on a 5-man squad, you go regen.
We'll put it this way: I probably wouldn't take a 5-man squad of Battle Brothers. If I wanted a small squad, I'd be running just Pathfinders.
I kind of like a 5-man squad with the Courage Aura. 5 points and they're 2-up quality with Fearless, Battleborn. You're never going to get into fail morale for 5 points.
Fearless quality 3 is already a 1 in 6 chance of failing a morale.
I want to roll that too.
It's a 1 in 12.
1 in 12. That's just...
Which is... So good. Look, it's even more insane, right?
Yeah.
But I think at some point, you've got to stop stacking on the defense.
Never. I will never fail morale.
I'd rather not lose units with the regen, to be honest.
Yeah, it's 30 points.
I probably wouldn't take these guys in a 5-man, just because... Yeah, and a 10-man's there's just an excellent shooting base. It's 300 base if you don't take any banner or any upgrade. I would usually take medical training.
Yeah.
But 10, 24-inch AP1 shots, hitting on 3s.
With some specialist weapons in there.
And survive. Yeah, of course. You always throw a specialist weapon in there if you can. Yeah, look, it's...
Now, these gravity cannons are new.
Hard to kill.
Then the gravity rifles as well.
Yeah, it's probably about time we talked about Smash.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's a little bit niche. So they're both good. They've got an AP2, let's say the gravity cannon, 24-inch AP2, so it's going well with the 24-inch rifles. It ignores regen, so against anything defense 4 or better, it's just an AP2 ignore regen shot. But against defense 5 or 6, it's a blast 3 as well with AP2 ignore regen. And it's not very many points. It's 15 points. It's...
So...
I'm the other ones are so pure in terms of what they're trying to do. I'm struggling to think of when I would take a gravity cannon.
So I would never take a gravity cannon over a gravity rifle.
Yeah, just for the 10 points discount.
I mean, first of all, yeah, the 10-point discount. I'd rather have 2 gravity rifles than 2 gravity autocannons in a Battle Brothers squad. But here's one really important distinction that I thought about. So this gun's obviously supposed to be shot against hordes with defense 5 up.
And the AP2 does nothing.
Does nothing. If you're shooting at these units, you'll have blasts. You'll ignore cover anyway. So it's not even good for them being in cover, right? Because you'd already ignore that. So using it against the best unit they're up against, gravity weapons, the gravity cannon is actively more expensive with less benefit.
Yeah.
The niche of a gravity cannon would be, I've got AP2. If I'm not shooting a 5-up unit, it's a slightly better weapon.
But then you
At
may
which
as well have
point-
taken something else.
Exactly, it's 15 points for +1 AP on a just a normal bolter. Not worth it.
So which specialist weapons are you looking at for your 10-man squad of Battle Brothers?
Ironically, despite everything I said, potentially gravity rifle and pistol spam could be a thing.
Plasma pistol or gravity pistol?
Oh, gravity pistol.
So you got some
can
blasts against hordes.
Exactly. Where you've got that bit of extra range over the flamer, which is sort of the toss-up there. You've got extra AP and gravity over the flamer.
They don't really need reliable. They're already hitting on
really.
3s.
3s versus 2s is your consideration there, yeah. The extra range is nice. If you're doing the guys like this, I'd take the versatile reach aura banner, get the extra 4-inch on those pistols. Now they're 13-inch pistols. Which is, that's quite a lot of that'll wipe out, a regen guard squad.
It's 4 blasts with AP1. Yeah, they all have AP1, so that's equivalent of 4 heavy flamers, just hitting on 3s instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hordes aren't gonna like that.
It's fine. It doesn't. It's that thing where I'm trying to make it work more than it's like popped out to me as super scary. But I think it could do something.
There's some standards in here: heavy fusion rifles and heavy flamers. They're no nonsense weapons that just do what their job is.
The heavy fusion and heavy flamers, I think, are excellent choices. The heavy machine gun as well, if you just want a DACA unit, great choice. Missile launcher is, I'd say, almost a non-take now.
Any other army.
Any other army.
There's so much unstoppable everywhere.
Yeah,
you don't need
spend that 15 extra points, get the laser cannon for the extra AP. This is the weird niche of that unstoppable not being able to target flyers necessarily because of the range from the spell and the mark. That's like the specific niche of the missile launcher. Not worth it.
No.
Not worth it, in my opinion. Go to laser cannon. Plasma cannons, ironically, the greatest weapon you can possibly get against Battle Brothers. If you can list Taylor, I'm sure the plasma cannons would be great, but really not great in all-comer armies. You're just really hoping for that high toughness, high model count. And
if you're versing Custodes or Prime Brothers or Battle Brothers, if that's your opponent, then yeah, strongly consider this one. But if you don't know what you're versing, then yeah, you need something a little more generalist. It's very expensive.
And through the nose, something that may be completely useless.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Battle Brothers squad. I always thought they were pretty good, but now with these upgrades, they are even better. And the Battleborn and Fearless, yeah, very, very reliable squad. All right, so let's go to their Jumpy Assault Brothers. So same stat line, same auras, but they get melee weapons and they come with base 2 attacks, and they can choose to take ambush and flying. Are we always picking this ambush and flying, or do you transport them sometimes?
Look, to be honest, I probably wouldn't transport them. I think if I want to spend extra to get them in, I'd rather take the ambush on them. But there is one weird, interesting niche that I discovered reading over these, and yes, that's it. It's the fact that for some reason, if you want to go plasma heavy squad, your best bet for it in terms of the sort of normal infantry is 3 plasma pistols on Assault Brothers, which is
and a flamer.
5 weapons. And a flamer, yeah.
That's a shooty squad. Close range shooty, but shooty.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're stuck with the 1 extra pistol. I don't think you can do anything about the normal pistol, but
it's fun.
I mean, yeah, 3 plasma shots. It's weirdly shooty, and then if you get charged, you're still 2 attacks per model. With AP1 is good combat. You're still 3-up save. You're still fearless Battleborn. Yeah, I mean, look, the way I would generally run this squad is not with the pistols. I mean, you can put it this way: you can take the pistols regardless. It's just changing some of the weapons out to that. But the way I would run it is normal melee weapons with the heavy chainsword upgrade. Yep, that one, and in a jetpack. You can go to Sergeant if you want. I wouldn't bother.
Just keep them cheap.
Yeah.
And that's 12 attacks, AP 1, and it's less than 200 points, ambushing. So that's going to chop up a backline squad that was babysitting something.
Yep.
Which is all you want out of them.
Yeah, that's going to morale check anything that's already been wounded. So that's good second charger. At 105 points, it's nothing, really. It's going to hit way harder than it takes. So that's usually what you want for ambush anyway. This is how I've taken them in the past, and I don't think it's got any worse with the new edition. You can go for the auras. I wouldn't bother. Just keep it as a sort of drop and charge unit. It's good.
You can build these as a 10-man squad, but there's a better squad coming that can be a bit more choppier with more rules. So I think less is more with these. And like you mentioned, they're just a nice utility piece. 5-man, just drop it in the back, be annoying. Your opponent's not going to dedicate a huge amount into a 5-man squad, and they'll do their job.
And they need to kill it, really. Yeah. 3-up save is nothing to scoff at. 5 models, and you're only losing 2 attacks each model they take out of your 12 total. So, yeah.
They're pretty good. Veteran Assault Brothers. So these are a 3-man squad. They're not a 5-man like the last one. They have the versatile attack rule and shielded as base, so they can get +1 AP or +1 to hit, and they're a base 2-up against shooting before they start upgrading. How do we like them?
Now
this can replace any. These guys can all be upgraded to the guilds if they wanted to.
So this is my favorite unit in the list. Versatile attack, shielded.
Yep.
Incredible combo.
Yep.
I think no matter what you do, I generally prefer not to drop shielded. I think 2-up save is super excellent. It's so frustrating for a melee unit. You can stick to the base weapons, but
they've only got you can run the heavy CCW for 5 points, or they've got their bashes standard.
I say never drop shielded. That's not true. The way I'd usually run these as like dirt cheap, as cheap as possible, would be dual energy claw spam on just 3 guys. So it's 155 points for 12 attacks rending. You can get extra AP or extra to hit. Both options are good with versatile attack. Literally, 4-up is the break even for it. So if they have, if they're above 4-up, you want the chance to hit. If they're below 4-up, you want the extra AP. Having done the math on this, the rending's great for ignore regen, of course. I mean, it's 155 points, so even cheaper than our Assault Brother unit that we talked about. You have to put on the jetpack.
Oh, jetpack?
Yep. So, sorry, 170 points. So it's still cheaper. It's same number of attacks, 12. Instead of AP1, they can be AP1 and rending, or they can be a 2-up to hit and rending.
And they're 2-up defense.
Yeah. And it's very high damage, very scary unit.
2-up defense with no toughness, by the way, is a nice little niche. Because flamers, which is the general bane of infantry that don't have toughness, don't like shooting stuff with 2-up defense, and melters don't like shooting stuff with 2-up defense because their deadly does nothing. So it's a good thing to have.
Yeah. So this is one option for I'd run them. I do love this. I love the dual energy claws. 170 points is so little for how much it can do. Of course, you be careful ambushing this, right?
This is not a Death Star. This is just to bully chaff units and like light infantry. That's all it does, and it's cheap.
But eight non-rending hits, or 8 rending hits with no AP, or with 2 hits that are AP4. That's a really good output. That's way you pay more than 170 points for that usually, right? And it's because their defense 3-up and it's 3 model, so they aren't as tanky in this way. But when you're ambushing, ideally, right, you're getting that first charge. You build it around having the first activation. The other way that I've thought of using it, I'll just dictate it out to you. So give them all energy fists with shielded.
All right.
Yep.
That's it.
And now 1 regen and combine the unit.
So 370 points for 6 energy fists, and I'll get rid of the with regen.
Now add in a veteran master brother.
Okay.
In the squad.
Yep.
Give him Bane melee. He's got
and a fist.
Flying. Yep, fist and shield, just like the rest of the squad. Should come out to 495 points, I think.
Needs a shield.
Yeah.
Need that one. And then.
Yep.
How do we keep a shield on him?
Yeah. The one
I think
above.
but then he.
No, not one above. No, you can do it. There it is.
This one?
I think so.
Then he doesn't have a CCW.
How have I done it? Let me see on mine.
It doesn't matter a huge amount because the squad's going to be taking the hits.
You don't give him a weapon intermediary. You go straight to energy fist. Take off his weapons and then go straight to energy fist.
Right. Okay. All right. So he goes in, and we got 495 points for 6 veteran assault brothers with regen, power fist, and a veteran master brother with power fist. They all have Bane in melee, so it's 6s for your enemy, and then they have to reroll those 6s, and they're hitting on 2s.
Regen.
And it's what, 6,
So
12, 14 AP4 attacks, hitting on 2s, reroll 6s. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot.
Yep, this is a 2-up save regenning squad, so it's quite tanky. It's in the realm of vehicles. It's 9 wounds total, which puts it in, almost at that combat walker level of wounds. But now it's got regen, unlike a lot of combat walkers can't get that sort of upgrade. Its damage output is significantly higher than your average combat walker. This averages 14.9, I believe, wounds against a 2-up save with regen, potentially, because you ignore regen. 14.6 wounds, which will blow up 80% of tanks. And that's on average. How does it get more than blow up tanks. How does it get that?
It's only got 14 attacks.
Because you've got the extra from... Does it? Are you telling me I've messed up my maths?
6, 12, 14.
12, 14. You are correct. I've messed up my maths. And I was so prepared for it. Oh, I've got it as 18 attacks. Why have I got it as 18? 2...
Math's hard,
6,
everyone.
Yeah, maths is hard. Never mind, I stand corrected. Full of shit.
Let's get your calculator.
Okay, so it's not quite that high, but it's still pretty high. Let me swap it out for 18 for 14 in my calculation. Okay, so it's 11.34, so it's not quite 12, which is an important distinction in the average.
12 would, if it got 12 or better 13, that would be nice, so it can just punch out a combat walker or something else. But this is big damage output.
Yeah. I mean, that's average. Average 12. It's not quite unlikely to get that 13. I mean, you've got, 2 up, and then your opponent's 6 up reroll. It's quite unlikely to miss. Either way, this is going to morale check anything it hits, right?
Yeah, and they're not likely to take much back with their 2-up defense and their regen defense. Yep, I like them. This is where you spend your points, I think, in terms of if you're looking for a salty squad. They
outpace your dreadnought.
React well to it. So here's the shooty version, the veteran battle brothers. So they don't have the massive melee options, but any single one of them can take all of these crazy special weapons. Ah, wow. Wow, we can have 6 heavy flamers with AP2. We can have 6 las cannons with AP4 or hitting on 2s.
6 heavy machine guns with AP2.
6 heavy machine guns, or just 6 flamers. 6 flamers, with, and you can make them heavy flamer equivalents. It's
You don't take gravity.
No.
Ever.
No. Now this is where you can do that sneaky thing where they've already got heavy rifles base, so now you can just slam, say, 3 fusion mods on them, and now they've got 3 heavy rifles and 3 fusions when they want, or combine it up and you got 6 fusions. So you can just pop anything you want that is within range. It's gonna get wrecked if it's a vehicle.
Yeah. Pick one turn. On that turn, where you shoot with these guys, you get 5 melter hits. It's gonna blow up a tank.
Yep. Yep.
Guaranteed. Once you get up to a sort of 24 tough tank, it's not necessarily going to blow it up, but they're spending 800 points on that tank.
I don't want my tough 24 taking 5 melter hits.
No.
I paid a lot for that, and now it's pretty much gone.
And hey, even better, right? Like we said before, I pop that. You take all that damage right now. I shoot off the heavy rifles at something else. Don't get me started on how you're shooting an attachment on a gun at something different at the same time you're shooting the gun at. I guess it must swivel. But yeah, then now it's a 6 up to hit. 6 shot heavy rifle squad that hits on 2s or is AP2 for the rest of the game. So it's still good.
And you can put regen on these guys, and they're semi-tough. If you wanted to, you can put the courage banner on them. They respond very well to the versatile reach. Yep. With these weapons we're talking about. Mods. Yeah, these guys are great. They need to be protected though.
Perfect to put in a transport.
They can't ambush. Yeah, a transport, something like that, to just keep them safe, get them where they need to be for turn 1, and they'll just absolutely smash something for you. Trust me, I know. I've experienced it. Yeah. Two
Russes in a turn, I believe.
Well, combat walker and a Russ. Yeah.
Yep. Just
even worse. So support brothers. So these guys have relentless, which is a great rule to have. Yeah, they have the good relentless now, and they have the option to take all heavy weapons. Now, we alluded to it before, but this squad can do terrifying output against high toughness models if you protect them, because they're squishy. They're only 3 Space Marines, but if you put, say, 6 las cannons and you give them that shred buff we were talking about for casting before, now they're getting extra hits on 6, and your enemy takes extra wounds when they roll 1, and that starts to add up really quick. This is terrifying for tanks, and it's got a 36-inch threat aura. And again, you can put this in the perfect place for that turn 1 alpha strike just by redeploying. It's a high cost unit, but boy, this is a scary unit. And would you run them any other way?
Yeah. I love this unit. I think it's a really fun unit. It's a real toss-up between these guys and the veteran Battle Brothers, but what you've really got to think about is both of them get more hits, since Relentless is a 6-up for an extra hit, but Versatile is a +1 to hit potentially, which is roughly equivalent.
The average is the same. This is a higher ceiling. But
yes, exactly. You can double your number of shots with Relentless, which you can't do with the +1 to hit. But yes, the average comes out the same in the end. Anything blast, anything deadly, really nice with Relentless. Now, you do have some positioning issues with Relentless and Flamers because of the 3-inch range band where you're still getting the Relentless. But, like we said before, chuck these guys in a transport, pop them out, they'll blow squads to death. I mean, a 6-man squad with Relentless means on average, if they've got 1 attack each, they're getting that 1 extra hit from that blast. It's multiplicative with Shred. It's Yeah, I mean, Flamer's excellent. I'd take Heavy Machine Gun Squad could be pretty funny with Relentless just sitting somewhere. I think in this case they're kind of competing in a niche with just standard
The
Battle
tactical
Brothers.
boys.
And the standard Battle Brothers are good. So yeah, I mean, definitely the Melter option, the Las Cannon option, Plasma Cannons, if you you and your opponent agree, you know what the other person's taking in terms of army, then this will just shred any of those high tankiness armies. Just Plasma Cannon spamming Support Brothers, excellent choice. Yeah, you could take the diet option of the laser cannon and go missile launchers here, particularly if you're going shred and relentless, just because that AP2 is the frustrating issue there. It's less so when you're getting all those extra hits.
Yeah, this is you can get really spendy here, and you need to protect these guys. There needs to be someone playing intercept for them. Yeah.
Yeah,
this is gonna kill
not
people.
like some of the other units where their damage output is like significantly over their cost. These guys do cost to get their damage output, but in exchange they can sit further away and thus be more survivable.
And they pay it back. This is one-shotting territory for many things. They're gonna do their job. So destroyers, terminators. So this is both the assault and the shooty version. You can build them out either. How do you like them?
So there's two options that I really consider. There's the like you said, there's the shooty ones, where you go the storm rifles. You probably pick up either the minigun or the cyclone. If you go the minigun, it's quite funny. This ends up exactly 300 points, which is the same as a double squad of Battle Brothers. Except in this case, they're trading out one wound, and they're more weak to deadly because they've got tough. Slightly less weak to blast because once you lose one model, it goes down. They step down their damage output differently to the basic Battle Brothers.
They're less vulnerable to attrition.
They are less vulnerable to attrition. But yeah, they're also one less shot.
And they're not paying the hybrid tax as much. So they've only got literally 3 attacks as opposed to the 10 that the attack Marines would have.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird to think of them in that way, that they're just kind of like an alternate Battle Brother unit here. The other way to look at it as well is Battle Brothers basic unit is restricted to 10 models, and that's double size squad for the price of these 3. You can combine this. Now you have a 600 point sit and hold squad.
With regen.
You can do regen. Same price.
Regen, yeah.
Yeah, same price as the other ones. This is that I want a Battle Brothers shooting unit to just sit somewhere and tank, but the normal one, I'd rather it had double the wounds. This is your option for that. It's an interesting trade-off for the weakness to
Blast and deadly.
Blast and deadly. But the other thing you have here is the option to swap out the weapons for melee weapons. So you can go down the bottom. No, keep the storm rifles.
Okay. And you just have
you
some
can
punching.
actually swap out their close combat weapons for some punching. So now also you have a more punchy Battle Brothers unit.
These are a good price because they're changing a 1 attack no AP weapon for a 3 attack weapon, and it's not that many points for the amount of attacks and AP you're getting.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting unit. I still think if I wanted a pure shooting, I'd take just the Battle Brothers in most cases, but it's interesting to see how that works. Now, like you were suggesting, changing it to just a full combat unit.
Yeah.
Dual Energy Claw is hilarious.
Not many points.
Look, this is the same as that. If you recall the other ambushing squad, the veterans with just claws, same number of attacks. Loses fly in comparison, doesn't hit on 2s. 50 extra points. Triple the wounds.
And they're tough boys.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, triple the wounds. So you're less likely to deal as much damage with this in ambush, but they're more likely to survive coming out of ambush. And can be built to be even more tanky. This is your tankier option for ambusher. than the normal assault option.
And they can go even further in terms of the amount of AP4. What they get 9, 18. They could potentially have 20 AP4 or more if you bring in a Master Destroyer and go crazy. How many attacks is that? That's 22 AP4 attacks. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, but you are capped at a 3-up to hit instead of a 2-up.
Yeah.
Which is a 1/3 out on 22 is roughly 7 off, so it's about 14, 15.
They're in a weird place.
Higher in damage, you do pay for it.
This ambush is non-optional, so you kind of want to use it. You don't have to use it with the shooting guys, but with the melee guys, you'd want to use it. But yeah, with the 20 French shooting, the shooting guys can just wander around. Would you take these often?
No. These would mostly be a sort of a funny unit that I take. I might take them in case of the Battle Brothers for like that 700 point big shooty unit squad. But there's a lot of rules that came out that specifically do more damage against Defense 2 or 3, which is really great as Battle Brothers.
and Tough 3.
Tough 3. These guys take the extra AP from both.
Yeah.
Making them more of your enemy's guns are applicable to these guys, despite their innate toughness compared to the alternative options. And
they're going to take them because they're good against tanks. So these just took incidental fire from that.
That's the real downside is, all of your opponent's weapons are good against these guys. In comparison to other squads.
They're not... how do you keep the shielded? You have to run the...
No, you go... So just... and then at the bottom change the melee weapon.
So you can't run the dual energy claw or the storm rifles if you wanted shielded, and I really, really want shielded. But
yeah, I mean with shielded it becomes better, but even with shielded, those special weapons we talked about will still be better against you here. I don't know. They just...
That you can get damage elsewhere. It's tankiness you've got here, but
yeah, it's a tankiness that is affected by any form of weapon, right?
Anything blast or deadly, or anything with the Slayer rule, things like that, which you're going to see a lot of. I think like you said, you can make a fun bomb unit. With just like a character coming down and 6 destroyers, and they all have melee loaded to bear, and they just delete anything they touch. They can do that, and they're probably the best in the list for that. If you just want to absolutely murder something in melee,
and in terms of hero efficiency as well, getting the shred in shooting on a big squad of these guys means, hey, that hero is buffing 6 destroyers worth of shooting, 18 shots with Bane. He's applying it to a lot of bullets. Not a lot of other units you can get that same volume of fire from.
All right, let's have a look at
least.
Pathfinder Bikers. So they have Scout Base and Fast. They've got 2 weapons for shooting. They've got their Grenade Launcher Blast 3, and they've got heavy pistols as well. You can replace the grenade launchers if you want with just more bolter shots. You can replace the heavy pistols with longer range heavy rifle shots. They've got the shooting mark and sergeants. It's an interesting pick. I wish they had Strider. They have no way to get Strider, do they?
No, they do not.
Kind of sucks for them. But
and I believe they don't get regen.
No way to get regen. No banners of any kind. I like Scout and Fast, but these guys they're not going to be running into melee. They're going to want to shoot. So it's a bit of a weird thing to be both Scout and Fast and shooting.
Look, this is a slightly tanker unstoppable shooting mark option.
Yeah.
Which is something. If these guys could take regen, I would consider them actually a pretty decent unit. Because then you have the tankiness. If you compare these to the destroyers, you lose the defense, which is both a blessing and a curse, right? Because You are more tanky against, was it Range Slayer? Or the one that's against better defensive profiles, which is good. And then the regen would balance out the tankiness nicely. But, you know, even
this
then...
is an expensive unit. 230 points.
It's expensive.
They shoot okay. So this is what, 3 blasts and 3 heavy pistols. It's not as synergistic as I like. If I had Strider, I would be strongly considering this. But they're pushed in a bunch of directions.
Yeah, they the role that they want to fulfill, the roles they want to fulfill are better done by other units.
Well, a scout, just a scout unit would.
Pathfinders.
Yeah, just Pathfinders on their own, not on the bikes.
Don't need bikes; they're scouts.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure I can recommend these. Unless I'm missing something, you guys let me know. But yeah. All right, brother bikers. So they do not have scout, but they have no banners. Okay. Interesting. So they've got twin heavy rifles, heavy pistols.
If you had less tanky destroyers, right? Get this, less tanky destroyers, fast. But they're fast.
But they shoot. Yeah. They're not for melee. They only have a sergeant for melee.
Destroyers.
Huh?
I think there's a 5-point difference between the destroyers with the storm bolters, storm rifles.
Yep.
Yeah. And you get fast instead of ambush.
And longer range shots because they don't have pistols.
Yeah. You get more melee attacks, I guess. You get double the melee attacks, technically.
Yeah, six no AP melee attacks hitting on 4. That's going to crush things.
Yep. Yeah. The destroyers can swap theirs out for blast for free in that same profile. So
it's a fast fusion rifle. No, it's a weird unit again. Fast on something that has such good, medium to long range shooting as this feels weird. You don't really need fast unless it's on something that is a melee unit. This can reach out and touch things just fine if it didn't have the fast rule.
Yeah.
Is there any niches you can see for it that I'm not seeing?
No.
Yeah.
You're spending too much being moderately okay at different things. So you're not specializing at all.
They're fast Terminators. Okay?
Yeah. And?
Yeah, but fast Terminators, but way less versatile.
Naturally less tanky and the same amount of shooty, but less capacity upgrade in that direction. I mean, I guess they can have,
Tragedy, they can't have the banners.
No.
The regen, something.
Banners can't have regen, It's just kind of... I love the old Space Marine biker models.
They're cool.
And I was really hoping... Yeah, and I was really hoping they'd be usable. But, well, here's the other thing. You've got a fast unit, right, that's not great at charging. Already not a great start.
Yeah.
On top of that, if you want to really take advantage of the fast by advancing, congratulations. You lose out on your 3 shots per model. That's significant. That's a lot of their points spent on shooting, and you don't even get to...
And this squad is not cheap. It's 280 points base before any upgrades.
Yeah, it is a miss. Hard miss.
Oh, well. Or you could double up and get the commander on a bike, and he can have the aura that makes them rush even faster, and you could rush... How far can you rush? 22 inches? Woohoo!
Wow.
Yeah.
And not shoot your guns. Yeah, sick. I guess you can cross the board.
Fast.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right, support bike.
This thing's funny.
It's interesting. It's defense 3, not defense 2. It's got the heavy flamer, but it's only 1 heavy flamer. I would take the heavy fusion because it's only 1 shot with the heavy flamer, which is not what I like. But it's not very threatening. I wish I had more shots. What do you think about it?
I mean, 175 points, and we've talked about just the sheer output of other squads with the same amount of tankiness. And ambush is a better tool to get in close than fast.
This should be
Yeah,
Deadly
it's-
6 or something.
Yeah, if that was Deadly 6, I could see it. Or if it was 2-shot heavy fusion, maybe it might fit a niche. I think this fits the same issue that I see with that we see with the hover bikes from Dow or from the Hyowen fleets. Their big jet bike. It just doesn't do.
No, you don't need this. You can get your damage elsewhere. It's mobile. Yeah, it's not even that tough. For some reason, it's defense 3. That sucks. Yeah, I'm not sure about him. I can't see a use. Yeah. All right, APC. So you either love or hate him. I like him for certain use cases. I like that it's got just a dinky rifle, so you're not overspending in terms of the money. I like that it's got all these morale mitigation rules, so it's going to hang around unless it's dead.
Your opponent has to kill it. I like that it's got Strider there, purchasable.
Yeah, you have to click this, 5 points.
Oh, yes, compulsory.
It's fine. 210 points is a little bit on the upper end for APCs, but you are very morale resistant for APCs.
So morale resistance is good.
Not really
gun?
too much. Yeah. I wouldn't run guns. Maybe a hunter missile, maybe, but I probably wouldn't.
Wouldn't bother.
No, the stuff that's inside it is going to do the damage. This is just to get them there and to impact things else afterwards.
It's missing like a stealth or something like that, just to make it more likely to survive that first turn volley. But with the Fearless, it's more likely to get its move, so you're more likely to get your disembark. It's fine. It's a transport. I love transports. Yeah, this isn't the one I'd take in most cases, though. It'd be the next option.
Let's have a look at it. So this one gives up 5 transport. It goes down to transport 6, but it starts with a twin heavy flamer, which is great. Love it. And then it's got some other weapons too, if you want to go crazy.
Yeah.
I just run the twin heavy flamer because that's fun.
Twin heavy flamer.
205 points. It's the same cost as the other one, but it's got a twin heavy flamer.
Yeah. So you lose transport capacity, but my question to you is, what unit are you going to transport up? Because
probably veterans.
Yeah, probably vets.
In a 6-man squad.
Fits perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah, and in your experience, that's how I ran these. I put two of these on the board with the heavy flamers, and then 2 squads of combi melters in there. The veterans with combi melters. They drive up, jump out, blow up a tank, and now there's a twin heavy flamer in your face and 6 bolters, and you're down a tank. And that whole combo costs about as much as that tank almost anyway.
And it's a nice little diverse threat because the melters will handle the tanks, and now you've got the flamers for any kind of incidental infantry and stuff like that. And the reliable Blast 3 AP1 is just good to have on a transport because it's threatening. You can't ignore twin heavy flamers hanging around you.
Yep.
And it's cheap.
One thing you want.
205 points. It's fine.
Yeah, look, it's not as cheap as the High Fleet one.
High Fleet one doesn't have heavy flamers.
Oh yeah, you're getting something in this case. Yeah, look, the normal APC's probably going to be using that impact after it drops people off. This thing's going to be using its flamer, and the flamer is a much more effective weapon. So yeah, in most cases you'll go for this, or at least I will. If you need more transport, you can go to the APC. There's another transport option as well coming up, which is a weird one.
All right, so drop pod. It can't move. It's immobile, but it ambushes. So now you can ambush down with 11 boys and drop them exactly where you want, turn 2. And it's got a shooting mark.
The shooting mark's probably the funniest part about this profile, right? 135 points, 170 with that is still 170 cheaper than any of your other transports, right? But this one's anywhere on the board because it's ambushing.
Just slam it on that objective. Then it's still doing its job even if it's immobile.
Oh yeah. And your opponent's got to peel through a what do you call it? A drop pod to take out your ambushes. Now this does fit a weird niche, right? So disembarking from a transport, max distance is 6. So you can't really use this to drop assaulters in ambush. So your assault guys probably not going to go on this drop pod.
just because of the limitation on being 9 inches away from an ambush, and it's
Yep.
being immobile. So yeah,
Which is a bit of a shame. But that's not the niche of this. The niche of this is getting those short-range shooter units in where they're needed, as well as positioning slower units behind your enemy's sort of main bulk of their forces. This will take even something as simple as a squad of Battle Brothers and turn them into a really big thorn in your opponent's side. It'll take things that are limited and turn them into surprise 6 flamers in your backlines. Surprise, what are they called? Caster in your backlines. This is fun.
you don't even have to get too crazy with it. Just chucking 10 Brother Brothers in there and putting them in your opponent's backline. If he's just trying to rush you, you're like, okay, well there's a squad in your backline taking your 1 or 2 objectives. Yeah. Just push them in 2 directions.
And you can go crazy with it too. You can you can take a 6-man squad of veterans or the support brothers. That's the fun one. Support brothers with like the melters or the heavy flamers. And then you still have 5 points. You can throw in a tactical squad as well if you really want. It's get those units that need short range shooting that are a little bit lighter. Without having to have the transport run up the field on the first turn.
If at all possible, try and get this on an objective, because it feels really bad for a immobile unit to not be on an objective.
And it feels bad for your opponent to have to shoot the drop pod.
It is a lot cheaper for this rule, though, for having this immobile rule. So, yeah. Pretty good. Attack Speeder. So this also has a Transport 6. And it has the ambush rule. So this one negates that downside we had before with the drop pod, where this one can ambush in, it can move, and it can move fast, and it can then dump something out and assault if they want to.
And it has 2 heavy flamers.
And it has 2 heavy flamers base. It's got a heavy fusion rifle if you want. It's got the missiles. It's got the unstoppable shooting mark. I probably wouldn't spend too much on this thing because it's going to be a big target. But this can catch people. This is you can't really hide yourself from this. Wherever this wants to go with an ambush and then a 16-inch move, it's gonna go. So if you have something nasty to deliver, would you go melee or range with this? Probably melee, right? Melee squad?
Either.
Yeah, you can go either.
Either. It's like, hey, hello, my friend Drop Pod. Here is my friend Better Drop Pod. It's a drop pod that moves is Kelly, cost a bit more, sure, but it's actually a unit in and of itself outside of that.
Yeah.
And again, Transport 6, those high damage but kind of weak units to return fire slot into this excellently. You don't get to do like a Battle Brothers squad, like a 10-man squad in this and drop it, but small price to pay. Hell, if you run this as intended in comparing it to 40k fluff, you'd fill this with just a 5-man unit of shotgun scouts. And even then, it's not nothing. It'll do something.
Yeah, this is quite a anytime you have a transport that can do weird things, I'm always looking at it with interest. And an ambushing transport, I've seen other ambushing transports do incredible things. So I think you can really catch your enemies with this if you want to, if you've got some nasty squads planned. Let's have a look at the heavy Exo-suit. So this is the what are those fat models called? Centurions? Are they Centurions?
Yeah.
Alright, so they come base with 2 flamers, not heavy flamers, just flamers. You can run them with fists. They're defense 2, tough 6. Options for missiles. How killy can we make this? So we got double fusion rifle, but no fast or scout or anything. You could go a missile and las cannon combination, but it's quite expensive for those 3 shots. But it's pretty tough. Bit of a weird one.
The fear is especially a weird combo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a light combat walker profile with the 2 stomps and a fear 1.
So one interesting thing about this is whether you build it for melee or shooting, it can do both.
Yeah, you
So
can click the heavy combat drill and still have your shots.
Yeah, if your playgroup plays with the advanced rule for shooting and charging, that's great. You can do it here. If they don't, then this thing will be able to fight in combat quite well, potentially dual combat drill, and you can just have it sit somewhere and shoot. Even at base with just the two flamers shooting is not nothing. And now its melee combat profile will actually, in combat against a lot of things, maybe not everything, not against a dedicated combat walker. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I've never found myself running this particular machine. It seems weird to see where you can use it, but it is weirdly tanky. It does have the ability to be gish, so melee and ranged. I don't know.
I wish I could take the guns off it.
Just run pure melee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, you could use this. It just doesn't quite have enough shots for its points, or if it has scout or something, some way to deploy these close range weapons that it's got would be nice. But it's not that expensive. 165 points for a couple flamers and a stomp, or you can throw in a fist and stuff, and now it can actually smack things in melee a little bit. It's fine. It doesn't wow me, and it's just a little bit slow.
Can Tough 6 fit in transport?
No, only if it's a hero.
Yeah.
So it can't be transported.
There might be some source here we can't see.
Yeah, you guys let us know. How do you guys run this? Because I can't see it.
It doesn't feel like a waste of unit like some of the other things we've seen so far.
It's not actively bad.
But it doesn't jump out like a lot of the other units do.
All right, so the Predator equivalent, battle tank. So we've got standard heavy machine gun storm cannons. You've got some pretty tasty weapons you can throw in for the main armament, and you can change the heavy machine guns to las cannons if you like. You've got the limited hunter missile with the Strider, and you can just throw in an additional heavy melter if you want. Let's see, what are we looking at here?
It's actually a choice.
There
are a lot of interesting options here. So, I mean, top down, spear missile launch is nice and cheap. It's AP 3, deadly 6. It's only one shot is the downside, but you're hitting on a 3.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but unstoppable. This will pop a flyer in a single shot. This not unlikely.
With the mass las cannon variant, this is kind of like the Devastator squad, but it's actually not a squishy like them. It doesn't have the 6 las cannons, but it's got 4. But it's now defense 2, tough 12, and you have to get rid of all of those before you lose a single las cannon. So it's a bit more reliable to buff up with the shred and the bane and things like that if you were looking for a tank like that.
And the Hunter Killer as well.
Oh yeah, definitely throw in the Hunter Killer, and maybe even the Heavy Fusion if you're going to be buffing it. But
Dozer Blade is not an auto include as much on the tanks.
It's got a lot of range,
but
yeah. What do you think about the blast options? So we got an AP4 blast 6 indirect.
I think if you're up against Battle Brothers, that'll
it's 24 inches, so it's not. And you're hitting on quality 3, so the indirect doesn't hurt as much, and you do have a little bit of range to play with. Blast 6, I wish this was attack 2, blast 3, but blast 6, it's fine. Yeah, you smash a defense 2 or defense 3 big unit.
I think the reason why you say that is the exact reason why I'd go Wind Missile Launcher. If I want to go blast on this anyway, it's 2 attack, blast 3. even if you lose the AP and it costs more, it's also the range. Applying 2 blasts anywhere on the map, we've discussed, can be quite useful for triggering morale checks. This is AP1 as well, and it hits on a 3 compared to what a lot of other people have. I think this is a fun tank. You can run it this way. You can run it with the laser cannons. You could run it with the autocannons. I love the spear missile launcher. It's a battle tank. It'll do what battle tanks do. It's not a cut above the rest in any way, but
I don't see it winning duels, which is the sad bit. So this would lose to a hammerhead because it doesn't have stealth and it doesn't have multiple deadly 6 shots, and it's more expensive. But it can punch. It can punch pretty hard, and it's got all these morale rules. And like you said, quality 3.
You say it won't win a duel, but if it shoots first, the hammerhead is not unlikely to fail its morale.
Yeah, something will get through.
That's the big distinction between these two, I guess, in that sense. If you can get 6 wounds on a hammerhead, which is not necessarily hard if you're running the double twin las cannon, then chances are he's got a good chance of failing that morale. You don't have to worry about morale.
No, morale doesn't exist for Space Marines. It's for other people. It's fine. Yeah. It doesn't. None of these options blow me away, but
no,
there's good options here depending on what your list is lacking. And this is a tough unit that is good, that reacts well to buffs. But it is pretty pricey, especially compared to its contemporaries. But I mean, you have to pay for these quality 3 and these morale rules somehow. So. All right, the Combat Walker. So he just comes base with the extra fists, and he has no way to improve them. Is that right? He can only add shooting.
Yep.
So he's base quality 3 with 12 attacks, 8 of which are AP4, 365, and Fearless.
Fearless helps him win in a duel with another Combat Walker.
Yeah, having 8 attacks AP4 doesn't help him though. No Furious either.
Yeah, well, nothing's as efficient as that HDF Combat Walker, I will say.
Would you run shooting on him?
Okay, so the answer is yes, but that's because I've got the Derodeo Forge World Dreadnought.
But if you had the ability to magically 3D print anything you want.
Yeah, well, hypothetically, if I could do that, that would change everything. No, I mean, look, you could try him out with like laser cannons, I guess. Maybe the heavy rifle array, probably not, being realistic.
I don't want to pay 400 points for 6 shots.
Nah. Yeah, you're right. Look, that versatile on like a vet squad is gonna do more than getting like AP from the autocannons on this, or more, tankiness. It just
You're paying for the toughness, in combination with these morale rules. So he's going to be shooting at full power no matter how damaged he is, and he's very likely to pass all his morale as he takes more damage. But he doesn't quite. It's a bit of a wimpy output for the points you have to start spending to get some of these options.
Yeah, so just run him base as a normal AP4 spamming Combat Walker. He won't be as many attacks as other units, but he'll be way tankier.
He'll win fights against almost anything unless it's a dedicated horrifying squad. And even if he does, they're probably unlikely to kill him, and he's going to swing back and probably pass morale. So
yeah, I mean, if you want more damage on like a combat monster melee unit, just go for that one that we showed before.
This one he's tough though.
He is.
Let's have a look at his bigger brother. So the veteran. So he's got the versatile attack, so he can hit on 2s, or he can have AP4 if he wants. Plus 1 AP. And he's got similar guns. Pretty much the exact replica. And he's only he's 45 points more for his versatile attack roll. That's a big upgrade in points.
It is. But you've got 8 fist attacks hitting on 2s now instead. As opposed to what is it with the HDF Combat Walker?
4-ups Furious with 12 attacks.
Okay, so what? 6?
8 hits.
8 hits versus this, which has 8 attacks on a 2-up, which is, 6 and a bit. But this is
more expensive.
More expensive and more likely to survive.
Yep.
And
how many heavy flamers can I stack on this thing?
That's always a question for you, isn't
Just 2? 3. I can get 3 heavy flamers with AP 2.
450 points, you still keep a fist?
Nah. Yeah, look, they're actually, as a base, they're fine. Both of the combat walkers. The concept of a very tanky, tough 12 unit that can smash in melee is just good on its own. It's not the best version of it, sadly. Sorry, Space Marines. You don't have the best dreadnought. But yeah, it's fine.
It is on the higher end of the combat walker role, I think.
Is this better than a Carnifex?
I'd put this above a Carnifex.
Interesting. Just because of its morale? Because the Carnifex has got equivalent attacks and regen.
It does. Is that the same points value? And is it quality 3 up? I don't think it is. I think it's quality 4 up.
It's 4 up with... Yeah, I don't think it has Furious.
So, yeah, I'd put this, I wouldn't put this against a HDF Combat Walker, or I guess I would, and they'd probably be about equal because of the tankiness difference. Actually, you know what? Even then, you've got morale on your HDF now, haven't you? So
they have Fearless, and they make their morale on a quality 3 up, so the same.
So same tankiness, yeah. All right, yeah. No, so this won't compete with the HDF one, but HDF I think is the top one I've seen.
Okay, so artillery gun. So same as the other artillery, it gets +1 to hit from enemies 9 inches away, -2 to be hit 9 inches away, and it actually of course it can't move. Now it's defense 3, but it's also quality 3, so it's hitting on 2s against most things. Tough 3, and it's got some interesting weapons. So it's got this little Dakar. 6 attack AP1. It's got a double shot deadly 3 out to 30 inches with unstoppable AP3, and you can get pretty pricey, and you can get some of those long range indirect blasts if you want. This kind of looks a little more interesting to me than the Whirlwind, even though it is pretty pricey for a tough 3 model. You're getting almost similar output to attack AP2 blast 3 hitting on 2s.
I mean, yeah, but artillery -2 to be hit, and on an indirect, it's pretty tanky from that perspective.
And it's pretty untouchable if you want it to be. The indirect version, at least. This... I like almost all artillery that I see. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting take for most armies. Is there anything super spicy? What do you think about this flat cannon with the unstoppable AP3 Deadly 3? It's like a super double missile.
I mean, it's a double las cannon, right? With unstoppable. Is how I'd look. Oh, I guess, yeah. You could also call it a double missile. I don't know. I don't like non-indirect on artillery pieces.
You want them blasting?
Yeah. I mean, you don't really want to use the move reposition artillery commander ability.
No, you don't really want to take that if you don't have to.
Yeah, which means he'll just be sitting there, and if he's just sitting there, indirect's always going to be a nice choice. I guess you could put him upstairs in a building, in a ruin, on a hill somewhere with a good view, but I just don't feel it without the indirect.
So you reckon just go either this one for the AP2 Blast 3, or not just this one, the AP2 Blast 3, 30 inches as you go?
Yeah, I wouldn't go for the 6-shot one, that's for sure.
Hitting on 2s with 2-attack AP2, that's going to put some punch into things. It is a little bit pricey, but yeah, like you mentioned, it's probably not going to die.
Yeah, and like any unit that's already been hit by something else, being hit by Blast 3 AP2, it's going to trigger morale. Also, just off the base of it, 2 up, not unlikely both won't hit. 6 hits at AP2, that'll do pretty good against most infantry in the game.
Yep.
3 wounds against a 2-up save, it's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I actually quite like artillery, so I don't think you can go too wrong with it. It is more expensive than the normal ones, but you're hitting more accurately, so...
Yeah. It's fine. It's definitely not an auto take.
No, but I wouldn't feel bad about it. All right,
No.
so the Land Raider equivalent, heavy tank. Tragedy that it can't fit 6 Terminators, or what are they called now? The Destroyers. 6 destroyers in it, but it can fit 11 normal troops. It's got 18 toughness. It's got impact 9.
That's huge.
that's pretty scary to get hit with. And it's got some pretty heavy weapons. So just base, it's got 18 shots AP1. That's a lot of shots. But you can also change it out for some flamers. So you can have 4 flamers and 4 shots, 6 shots. Or you can throw out 4 las cannons. It's kind of trying to do 2 jobs. A little bit with the transport. But
this is like the Shadow Sword that you took.
Shadow Sword's better because it can put 20 in it.
That's true. I mean, yeah, look, the impact is really nice on a tank, but at the same time, this thing by default would have so many guns that you feel bad not using them. You usually with the transport, you want to zip it if possible across the board. With this, again, guns, too much of an investment not to use. It's just a lot for a transport, and it's because of the guns it has. So
we can get
really
23 shots out of it. That's a lot of shots. All at 24 inches.
23 shots is a lot of
That's
shots,
a lot of shots.
But at 800 points, is it a lot of shots?
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
You can almost get 30.
What would you put in this?
Battle Brothers.
It has to be an assault squad, right? I can't.
It has to be something scary. I heard someone mention, I think on one of the Reddit threads, maybe, where we posted this, basically mentioned that transports to them are a mobile defense station, so not necessarily for dumping out like a charging or short range unit, but your units can use them as like a place to hide in a part of the map that doesn't necessarily have the cover.
You could also use it just completely block line of sight to certain units and things, depending on how you place your models.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, it's tough 18 defense 2 up. Your opponent's probably not going to kill it, and if he wants to kill it, he's going to have to dedicate a ton of stuff to it. So it's probably not getting removed from wherever it is. You could dump this on an objective. If you get charged, that's pretty rough, but you can charge back with that impact 9 and you'll do a lot, The shooting's excellent, but really heavy costed. I don't know, it's just such a confused unit to take.
This is not a super heavy, like all the armies have the super heavies. That almost none of the super heavies are like, wow, I got to take this. The High Elven Fleets one were pretty spicy. I would regularly take them. This one, very niche. Yeah, it's if it was just if they got rid of the transport and it was just its own tank and it had like lots of guns, it could be cool. But when you add the transport, you want to use the transport, and transport's double move and deliver something. So
it's so confused with what it's designed to be.
I wish it had a special rule, like where it could give an extra charge range, or the old ramp rules from 40k, something spicy.
Yeah. It's also the price. Even at the base cost of the tank, it's not allowed in 2k points.
No.
It's 740 just by itself. If you start putting upgrades on it as well, it gets super pricey. I don't see myself ever using this other than just wanting to dust off the old Land Raider model and put it on the board. I guess a quad las cannon heavy tank might just pick half the map and say no tanks allowed.
You could put a heavy fusion as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, even then, that's what total of
930 points.
Deadly 15, deadly 18 on one turn.
Yep.
I feel like just thinking of Dow, you can get that you can get deadly 12 in like 300 points, 400.
Yeah. You could put an engine seer in there, a mend commander, and have him just never let your tank die. You can just ride around chilling.
Yeah.
Just throw more points into this pile.
Exactly. Ingenious strategy. I mean, yeah. Look, it's not going to... The game's only 4 turns long. If your opponent spends all the time shooting this, I guess that's a valuable part of it, but you spend so much points on it anyway to have it. If they just ignore it, I don't know. It just doesn't... It seems to fill a weird niche.
It does not quite good.
I don't think it's fun either, for you or your opponent particularly.
Because it's so hard to kill in morale?
Yeah, I mean, that's the niche that I can see, is that you can't really get it off an objective without supreme dedication of firepower and big anti-tank melee. So
yeah,
I guess you could use it for that.
I don't think I'd run it. It is cool though, and I would like to run a Deathwing army, but that's why I'm sad it can't have 6 Terminators in there, because I only want to paint like 8 models. Alright, so airplanes like Gunship. So this is the Tough 6, it's fearless, and it's got the missiles with the option to upgrade them. No transport. So 310 points. What can we have here? So we've got these AP3 unstoppable las cannon equivalents. That's pretty punchy. How would you be running this? You ran this against me once with the hammer missiles. Yep. It was really annoying, but it doesn't have that -1 to hit rule anymore, so it's not as annoying.
It's not as hard to kill as it once was, but the great thing about this in terms of aircraft firepower is all of the ranges are nice and big, so you can kind of avoid being shot with it anyway and still ping off the things that you want to ping off at. Yeah, I mean, Deadly 3 Unstoppable AP3 2 shots is an excellent weapon profile, 36 inches well range. I mean, it could have 1 more AP if you needed to be picky, like if you're... it's just got to be a little bit better. Nah, it doesn't really need that. The laser talons can be good for chipping tanks through as well. Potentially worth the upgrade. I wouldn't bother with the storm cannon if you're going to get either of those upgrades. Definitely get the laser talon.
Starting to get up there for a Tough 6 model.
It is, but it's a Tough 6 model that half of your anti-tank can't shoot in any given point in time. And if your anti-tank is on vehicles, then it just has to stay up to 36 inches away with its twin hammer missiles and just bang, bang. Look, if Unstoppable truly becomes more common in this edition from your opponents, then maybe this won't be a good flyer, but I quite like it. I think you're looking at base, it's a bit cheaper than the seaplane. It won't output as much as the seaplane at base, once you start to upgrade it with those weapons, it'll perform a similarly powerful role, but with more of a focus on that deadly anti-tank role rather than the blasts of the seaplane.
All right, now let's have a look at the heavy one. So this one has the base transport 11, which is a very interesting option. It's expensive, but it's got a lot of guns, and it's tough 9, and it's got transport.
Yeah. Remember when we said all that stuff about how being a really tanky tank and having too many guns and having transport all at once was just like overloading and not worth it?
Here it is.
Complete opposite with this heavy gunship, I think.
I like transporting aircraft a lot.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Like full movement speed without, and you get to shoot your guns first of all. So that's that 1 point made moot that we have the issue with the heavy battle tank. 2, it's already bristling with guns, and some of them are deadly at base, so they've got different guns. It's not just the light heavy array profile. 3, it's about 200 points cheaper. 4, it's about as tough as it needs to be because it's an aircraft with tough 9. You don't really need more than that. And also, tough 9's a great amount of toughness, right?
and this can get any unit anywhere. This transport 11, just wait for your opponent to move. So whatever unit you're going for, they have to move it first so that they can't react to this plane coming in. And then, yeah, send the plane in. You can easily jump out, put it within 6 inches, and your boys can jump in and just murder something. And there's not much they can do because it can go anywhere it wants. It's
turn 1 ambush, but you can take points.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not limited in where you can be. With the vulnerability that you can potentially be shot, but not really with this thing. This is going to be very hard to pick up turn 1.
Oh, yeah, and you end up with a tank at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
The weapon options are pretty cool too. Worth considering some of them. I like the twin laser cannon instead of the twin minigun, just to really... Then all of a sudden this becomes like a great source of blowing up enemy tanks.
Yep. It's got deadly 9, and then
again,
6 incidental shots as well.
Yeah, not as expensive as the big heavy tank, but also not as much deadly as the big heavy tank. But that's kind of what you want in this case. To pay less. You can still fit this in a 2K army, unlike even the base heavy tank. I rate this. I like this. I don't like the 40k model it represents.
I've been using a lot of transport aircraft recently. So anytime I see transport on an aircraft, I get interested. This is a different kind of role than the ones I typically have, where it's got a lot. It's just loaded for bear. But I think this could be very dangerous. This could really smack someone, depending on what you put in that transport. What would you put in that transport? I'm thinking some kind of horrifying veteran squad with combi weapons. I'm thinking a kitted out assault squad with a commander supporting.
Well, if you think about it, there's a lot of different options for what you can do here. You can do a 6-man and a 5-man.
Yep.
Which could be double vets and just a normal assault squad or something. You could do 3 different 3-mans or mixtures of the 2, and then have room for 2 heroes as well attached to either of those units or one of those 3 units. You can have just the standard 10-man normal squad with a leader thrown in on top. There's a lot of great ways you could use this, and honestly, it's just kind of up to you. The good thing about this as well is because you can use it as your last activations and move it to wherever your opponent has already activated, having multiple units in this gunship and having them disembark one after the other isn't as dangerous as it would be in a ground-based transport. Because that extra turn of the gunship being there probably won't be able to be shot at anyway. Can't be charged if your opponent's got melee-based anti-tank.
It's immune to pistols, it's immune to normal melter guns. Yeah. It's don't forget too, you can get back in the aircraft. It doesn't sound intuitive, but you can. So you go at the end, you send it out, say at the bottom of turn 1. You go do your thing, just smash something, and then turn 2, just get back in and drop out again turn 3 and smash something else. Or take an objective somewhere else that needs help.
Yeah, you've used that to great effect in some of our games that I've seen, where you've just dropped on a sort of flank objective, taken it, immediately got back in after it flipped to you on the next turn, flown across the board and engaged in the other fight. And you basically secure that flank objective unless I have high mobility or ambushes or something coming in to take it, simply by dropping, picking up, and then going back to the fight.
So you just need some boys in there that are just capable of just absolutely savaging things and then getting back in, because you don't want to hang around.
No, you don't.
But Space Marines have those kind of guys, so...
Combi Vets is a good choice, whether it's Melters or Flamers.
Yep, I think it's pretty good. Okay, so overall, how are we feeling about Battle Brothers? They seemed, just as a face value for me, they got better. A lot better.
A lot better. Significantly better.
There's some dud units in here, but there's some really good ones.
Those top 3 units, right?
Yeah, the bikers I'm not a huge fan of. But your core bread and butter units, the scouts, the Battle Brothers, the Assault Brothers, the veterans, I think
veterans,
all of them are really good, and they have such great support from these heroes. Such good things they can take to help their
there's so many
squads.
different ways you can build the list around it as well. They're very versatile, as well as, even within a game being versatile with things like versatile attack.
Yeah.
Their spells, great versatile spells, to keep using that same word. Having a caster sit in there, they could be buffing, they could be dealing damage, they could be debuffing, and you can just choose what to do when you're in the game. You have multiple ways of delivering your units, all the different types of transports. You can basically pick, what do I want? Do I want a transport to run up the field? And then how many dudes do I want to transport? That gives you 3 different tank options. Do I want it to basically teleport across the field somehow? That gives you, you've got the speeder, you've got the drop pod, you've got the flyer transport. You pick what you want to do, and there's a way to do it with Battle Brothers.
Yeah, they've got so many good weapon options. They can be quite choppy. I think they're best used at a 12 to 18 inch range, just to unload with those heavy weapons, the melters, the flamers, the things like that, all their combi weapons, their shotgun scouts, things like that, because they don't really fear a melee brawl like a lot of the others. They've got the morale to take it and get there, and they have a lot of damage.
Yeah. They're just being as tanky as they are and having as high a quality as they do. I mean, low shot count can kind of be a thing with Battle Brothers, but every shot you shoot will do something,
Yeah, I think you've got to, when you're building your list, you have to be mindful of your activations, because it's very tempting to just, bring 5 activations at 2,000 points because you've got 2 full squads of just Battle Brothers combined up, and then an Assault Brothers or a Veteran Brothers, and the hero support. And that starts to get pricey really quickly. Try and spread that out a little bit to try and get to like 7 out of 10, 12 out of 15. Try and bring it up by having some half squads, because they're fine. The half squads are perfectly fine. They have the morale to hang around. But
Pathfinders are a great choice for just a half squad shotgun Pathfinders. The elite Pathfinder with the sniper and the lieutenant upgrade. This is pretty much why I think one of the second reason why we consider it a must take, right, is that it's an extra activation, and that is going to be one of the drawbacks here. So just, what is it for lieutenant? 70 points, and then you can add the sniper if you don't have the cost for it. You don't even have to it's a cheap activation, and it's already done what it has to do at the start of the game.
Yeah. You can... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess if you were to look for where this might show up as weak in the field, yeah, activations is one. The other is their chaff. Their absolute most chaff would be the Pathfinders, and it's still, immune to morale, 4-up save, Strider. You do have a severe limit on bodies. No matter what you do, you're just not going to have the same numbers as
Horde armies.
most lists. Yeah, there's going to be like a few different lists which have less than you, like your Titan Lords and your Custodian brothers, but most other armies will have more dudes on the board than you, regardless.
Yeah, and in regards to overcoming that, having some troops that just deliver such punch that you can just start taking those activations off your enemies, just start picking up their dudes. They're like the support brothers with the las cannons and some support, the veteran battle brothers with their combi, either melter or flamers, veteran assault brothers coming down and just deleting a unit in combat. Just having that, I feel like you want at least one or two of those units that you can just put down and be like, this is going to kill something. The second it activates, it's going to kill something. And just
you need it to equalize. To be honest. But luckily, you have a pretty solid chance when they shoot back that you won't lose everything.
Yeah, I think Battle Brothers players should be pretty happy. I think they've got a great list here. All right.
I'm excited to play some games, so...
I'm a little bit scared, but that's okay. All right, everyone. That'll do us for this time. We will see you in the next one.